Hello everyone, it's Alex here, and today's video is going to be located at Merino Rocks. It's already halfway through the day, but I decided to do the intro now. I've already caught a couple, but I still have the rest of the day to fish, so I hope you enjoy this video and take it from the start. Got my 9-foot surf rod ready to go and a nice little 12-gram stick bait. I've crushed the barbs down because I'm scared I'm going to get another hook in me. I want those hooks to go deeper inside the fish. They may shake the hooks, but I'll also get a better hook set. Stick baits, poppers and heaps of metal slugs. Rod straps are on and it's nice and secure, ready for the train ride. Now I'll be targeting a predatorial fish tomorrow, so gonna look for some bait fish patterns. There's a 70mm flick bait in the pilly colour. I love that lure. Let's see. Oh yes, these white bait looking things, they look delicious. Couple of slim swims chuck in the pack, maybe throw that in as well just for something a little bit bigger. And gonna get the heavy jig heads for these guys so we can get a bit more casting distance off the rocks, and you'll soon find out what we're targeting. I'll give you a hint, they're a teethy critter, so I'll need a lot of these. And here we have the jig heads, 1/16 of an ounce, couple more, 1/6, 1/12, and I'm going to use those with those. I'm going to start first off using a stick bait, which is already rigged on my rod, and I might throw some metal slugs as well, but tomorrow the weather conditions are looking pristine. 4 knots all day, so not going to have a problem casting these guys. So we've just arrived at the destination and it is super calm. I'll be flicking off the rocks here in search of a toothy critter, maybe come across a couple of salmon as well. But getting really keen, so we'll head down there. Now the reason why I've arrived at sunrise is because it's the best time to fish for them. Sunrise, sunset and at night. But in this case, I woke up early, headed down and got treated with a nice calm ocean, and it's going to be 6 knots or less throughout the whole day, so really looking forward to it. It's about 7:30 now and the sun's just starting to peek over the horizon, but it's looking beautiful. Couple of seals out there. Bit of good news, means there's fish. Or they're scaring the fish away, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so the swell's a little bit bad in close. I may have to find a really decent rock to cast off, but I've got this new rod that I bought second hand off one of my fellow fishos. You know who you are. Cheers for doing such a great sale. I'm really liking this rod, but it's the first time I'm using it, so should be really good fun. It's a 9'6" Daiwa sea bass, and it's only rated to about 4 to 8 kilos, so it's a nice light lure flicking rod, but it will get the distance out there, which is what we need for fishing off this little rocky area. Alright, I'm trying to find a nice rock point to get a good cast in. But this spot's only probably a half hour, maybe 20 to 25 minutes away from the Adelaide city centre. it's such a pristine coastline, and we're trying to catch a fish called a snook. Most of you know what a snook is. They're one of those long toothy critters that always shred your lures, and that's what we're targeting today. So hopefully we get a few for the camera, but we're going to do some catch and release today just for a bit of fun and to show you guys how easy it is down here in Adelaide and how convenient rock fishing can be when it's calm like this. So hopefully we get onto a few. Don't run away, stay tuned. Alright, so I've found a really nice rocky point where I can get a bit of distance, and I'm just trying to work the weed beds out there because these snook like to hide in those weeds and stalk little bait fish. And I'm just retrieving this stick bait on the surface because I've actually hooked a few with surface lures and they full on fly out the water like little Spanish mackerel, which is pretty insane. I hope I capture a couple of those hits on camera. But the tide's currently dropping, and yeah, it should be low at around midday, but then the high tide peaks at 4 PM tonight, and I've never fished a low tide, so it'll be interesting. I usually prefer high tides for these snook, but who knows, low tide could be insane fishing. There's only one way to find out. Now, snook are a schooling fish, so it's just a matter of working the edge. And I've probably walked about 50 meters already, casting, and I'm just trying to find that one school. And once you hook up to that one fish, there should be some more around them. So I'm gonna keep walking this way, further south. It's some nice offshore wind, so you can get that casting distance a fair way out, which is really convenient. Alright, so what you want to do with these land-based snook is cast as far as you can. So I've got this little stick bait. It's a 12-gram lure and it sinks, but I'm working it close to the surface because snook come up from the bottom to ambush their prey. So you want to work it close to the surface. And I just got wet there. Yeah, so you want to cast out as far as you can, like so, and all you want to do is continuously wind while twitching the rod tip to allow that lure to dart. And this only works with stick baits. You can do this retrieve with hard bodies as well, just to get it to shimmer a little bit more, as well as metals too, but the action's not as strong. And I've already had one swell this morning. It's been about an hour since I arrived, so it's not looking too good, but I reckon I might switch it up to something a little bit smaller, like a small metal lure, and that might get a little bit more distance as well. Alright, so what I've got here is a whole range of different lures. I've got poppers, just in case salmon come through. I've got stick baits, sinking stick baits, floating stick baits, and I've got metal lures and a couple of Shimano wax wings in there as well. But right now I'm going to throw this one back and I'm going to look for a smaller profile lure. So I might chuck a little metal lure out like that, or even something like that, just to imitate a smaller white bait. So compare that with that. It's slightly smaller. I reckon that will do the trick. So hopefully it does. Isn't this just paradise? Have a look at that. Calm, beautiful morning. It's actually surprisingly warm. Check out how clear the water is. It's beautiful. Waves are breaking. but we're lacking fish, so I might switch it up and chuck on a squid jig. Alright, I'm going to be chucking this squid jig, red and white, one of my all-time favourites, and check out how many squid bites I've got on it, because I've used this numerous times, and I've used it out here off the kayak as well. Got quite a few big squid, so going to give that a shot and hopefully show you some results. I know the snook are around because I just saw a massive horse just scoot in and hit a bait fish literally right there where the sand starts, and it shot off that way. Had probably 24 casts, but he didn't come back, so at least I know they're here. Hopefully we get one soon. Yes, finally hooked up to a fish, and it's a snook. Bloody oath. Only a little baby, probably smallest snook I've ever caught, but that's our target species. There we have it, a little snook on that metal lure. And check out those sharp teeth that I was talking about, far out. Just on that Hauco lure, and we were doing a twitching retrieve similar to soft plastic. And there we have it. We'll get it straight back in. Alright, ready? Off you go. Straight back down to the depth. Alright guys, so I just hooked up to the second snook, and once you hook them, they don't fight much. Fight like an old sock, but the initial hit's actually really hard. Once again, only a little tiny one. Not sure why I'm getting little ones today. Off the kayak I wasn't even getting any around this size. They were all around 55 or so. That one's about 45. He just whacked that metal slug, and don't mind the rusty trebles, but it still does the job because a snook just whack it so hard, and that's a nice snook. About 45, which is legal length. So that's a keeper, but it's his lucky day. Alright, so let's get this guy back in. There he goes. Awesome. Let's get another one. So what I'm doing when I retrieve this metal lure is I'm casting it out and I'm twitching the rod tip like that while I'm constantly reeling. So this will flutter, and the more it flutters, the shinier it is, which is what the snook react to, the flashes, and they think it's a bait fish. So they come up from underneath and just whack it. So yeah, you want to keep twitching it so that it shines a lot. Alright, so I've caught a couple already, and I'm just walking back to the bike, and I'm going to grab some lunch. I'm not sure what time it is, I'll just check now, but I reckon it's still a bit early for lunch, but I'm starving at the moment. It is 11:44, so almost midday, and we've still got the rest of the afternoon to fish, and that's when the tide is high. The reason I'm grabbing lunch is because it's still rising, and it's a bit dangerous fishing because you find a nice ledge, you stand on it, then you look back and the water's already up. So that happened to me a couple of times already, but I'm gonna grab some lunch, and hopefully when I come back the tide will be nice and high and the fish will be in close. got my fish and chips, a nice refreshing Coke, and I'm just going to eat it in front of this view. Tide's coming up and the fish should be on later on, so stay tuned and we'll see what happens. So check out how high that tide has come, and that was a well needed lunch. There's 2 seals just sunbathing. Hopefully that doesn't faze the fish too much. While I was eating the fish and chips, I had a thought about doing a catch and cook video. Not today, but I'll do it another time if you guys want me to. So let me know in the comments whether you want me to do a catch and cook and whatnot, and what species you want me to cook up. So just chuck it in the comments and I'll try and make one as soon as I can. So guys, just hooked up to another snook. Had about 3 hits. Oh, just dropped him. Had about 3 hits before this guy jumped on. Dropped him. Let's see if there's any more out there. Because I had about 3 swiping at it, and it was pretty close to the surface too. I actually saw them swirling around it. Come on. Hopefully there was a school. Yep. Oh, did you guys see that? I was just doing a slow wind with a couple of twitches and this guy jumped on. So there was obviously a school there. There we have it. Just another small snook. Probably the biggest one we've caught so far. But nice. There's a school out there. Whoa! Lure just fell out and I've landed the fish. Awesome stuff. 3rd snook, and I dropped one the cast before. Thought there was a school. You would have seen it on the action camera, and that's probably the biggest one we've caught today, pushing 50, 45 or so. Gonna throw him back now. Woo! Alright, so this is the cast after I landed that snook. Let's see if there's a school still out there. Winding slowly, couple of twitches to make that metal lure shimmer. Get them a little bit excited. Yep, awesome. There's a nice school out there. They're not huge by all means, but they're great fun. As you saw there, the hit was solid, but the fight's average. Just another one around that same size. There it is. Awesome. It's another one around 50. We're catching keepers, but yeah, like I said, today we're just doing a bit of catch and release. Alright, so I'm grabbing my pliers for this guy, because have a look at that. The trebles are all the way down his gob. Come on, open up, buddy. Those teeth are so gnarly. We'd hate to be a little bait fish around one of these guys. There we go. Hooks are out, and that's a nice solid snook. So let's see if we can't turn this into a hat trick. I just released that last fish and there was obviously a school. So let's see if we can't get one this cast. Yep, oh, I just had a hit. Just had a little tap, which was a ambush from a snook. All right, so we almost had a hat trick, but we got 3 fish out of that school, and I just released that other one, so let's see if we can't get a second one on the second cast. Oh, just missed one right there. I can see the swirl where it hit it. Far out. Get it straight back out. Bit further that one, so let's see what happens out there. Yep, there we go. Just hooked up to another one, and that's a much better one. Much better snook. Oh yes, it's the one we've been after. Fingers crossed he doesn't shake it. Bloody oath, look at that for a nice size snook. Awesome, and check out that bronze finish on him. Not a bad looking fish actually. Just got to watch out for those teeth. And that is a beautiful looking snook. Take a closer look at that bronze finish on this fish. They're not bad looking fish, and that's probably the biggest one I've caught today. 55 centimeters or so. It's been pretty productive. Once I found that school just out in front of me, landed 3 and missed about 2, so we'll get it straight back out there. Cracker fish. Just then we landed 4 fish, and one was around 55 to 60. I'm so glad I got to film that, because it just goes to show that they're actually a schooling fish. Like I said earlier, they're a schooling fish, and this high tide is pushing them up even higher to feed on the bait fish that were trapped in the rock pools. I've had plenty of casts and the school has moved on, or I've caught the whole school, but we'll try find another school and try capture some more footage. Alright, so I've just hooked up to another snook. I had a solid hit beforehand and I gave it a pause. You're not meant to give metal lures a pause because it would just plummet down to the bottom, but this guy decided to hit it, and it's another one around that 50 centimeter mark. Alright, I don't want to touch this guy because they leave slime all over your hands, so I'm just going to use the pliers and flip him in. Right there. Oh, there we go. Alright, so the cast after that last fish, see if there is a school like that last school we hit, because I did have a hit before I hooked that fish, so it could have been the same fish or it could have been a different one. There, oh, that was another hit. So there obviously is a school out there. Could be the same school as before, or it could be a different one, so I'll get another cast out there. Just hooked up to another one, and I was retrieving it right next to the surface, and I actually saw the splash when he hit it, so he was really keen on hitting that lure. Oh, and there he is, just cruising off. So in this next scene, I apologise for the blurriness because a wave came up and sprayed the action camera lens, and I didn't realise till I got home, and I looked at the footage and it was all blurry. The audio is still clear as day, so you can understand what's going on, but it's really unfortunate and I'm devastated about that because I took some really good footage, but here it is anyway. Just hooked up to another snook. Went quiet for about half hour. This one feels a little bit heavier, so it could be a better fish. Oh yeah, about 55 again. Not a bad fish. And the tide's come right up. I was standing on this rock before, and check out how far it's come up. And he's annihilated that. So I'm gonna have to use the pliers, which I've got in my pocket. Had a few comments in the last video saying I need pliers, but I always keep it in my bag. This time I've kept them in my pocket. Ah, there we go, got it out, and there's that snook. Nice chunky fish, so we'll get it straight back in. Oh, just missed one. And that was the cast after I hooked that last fish, so definitely a school. And that was a nice solid hit, but the hooks didn't set, so we'll try again. There we go, hooked up to another one. And that was a really subtle take, that one. And I reckon it's only a small fish. That is a baby, but it's another target species, so we'll keep at it and try catch that one big fish. Check out how high the tide has come. It was about 20 meters back from where it is now when we first started. Alright, so it's been a while, but I've finally hooked up to another snook. Just another one around that 40-45 centimetre mark. Oh, really active, this guy. Alright, so I've just landed another fish, and it was on this really nice rock point. It's probably the furthest one along this stretch, and he hit that little metal lure. I've been getting most of them on the metal, just retrieving it like a little soft plastic. We'll stop mucking around and chuck him back, see if there's any more out there. There we go. And back you go. I've mentioned this in the other video, but make sure you go like my Facebook page and Instagram page if you want to see more photos and little short videos that I post. I post plenty of photos that I don't get to film, from redfin, trout, salmon, whiting, all sorts of fish in South Australia. So make sure you go like and follow those pages, and you might even come across a sneaky preview of my next videos. Alright, so I've just hooked up to another fish, and I reckon this one might be a little Tommy, a Tommy rough, because it took it on the drop when I casted it out far. Yep, it's a nice sized Tommy. Oh, just a little sprat actually. Just another bycatch while fishing for snook, little Tommy rough. We haven't caught any salmon today, but you'll often get little salmon trout as well. And these guys have heaps of little tiny spikes. I had one last 3 months inside my finger once. Oh. The lure I've been using today has just been this golden metal slug. It's around 15 to 20 grams, I reckon. The trebles are rusted, but they seem to do the job on the snook, because the snook just engulf it anyways. And you can sort of see a lot of scratch marks from the snook's teeth. If I was using a plastic, it wouldn't have lasted me the whole day. This has done the job. I didn't get any snook on anything else. I've been getting a lot of good casting range with this metal lure, so that's just what I've been using today. Alright, so the sun's just about to set, and I reckon it's time to call it a day. The tide's right up, and if you have a look in front of me, I've got to get past there, and the tides are almost breaking up against the cliff, so better hurry. I tested out the new rod today and christened it with about a dozen snook, so that was awesome fun, and the rod worked a treat. So thanks Luke for the rod. Great rod for this sort of light lure flicking in the surf or off the rocks like I did today. So we got our target species, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learnt a thing or two. Once again, a massive thank you to my 5 patrons. I now have 5. Each of you will be getting a piece of artwork from me. I really appreciate it. I'll mention you guys in the next video, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do, because I'll be posting a lot of videos like this one all around Adelaide, maybe even venture out of Adelaide as well. But subscribe, put notifications on if you really want to see my videos. That just notifies you whenever I post one up. But in the meantime, stay tuned for more videos. Alrighty guys, so before I end this video, I want to ask you guys a question. I need it from your perspective because you're my viewers. I've been thinking about changing my channel name to Alex's Fishing Outlet, but if you have any other suggestions, let me know, or if you want to keep it the same, let me know as well in the comment section. But in the meantime, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos. Alright, so my backing knot got stuck, so I had to release heaps of line to get it undone. And I released it and the waves picked up the braid and wrapped it around a rock. So I'm in a bit of a pickle. I don't want to lose that amount of braid, so I'm going to walk out in the water. I ain't losing that. Get my shoes off. That's the thing about rock fishing. There's lots of rocks. This may end badly, so I'm gonna keep the camera on. Rocks are really slippery, but I'm gonna try walk out there to to that rock there. Oh my god, the water's freezing. It was 3 degrees this morning and that water is just frozen. Oh crap. It's wrapped really badly and Alright, now for the fun part. Here we go. Got it. Finally. And I'm snagged. So I reckon I'm going to lose that lure. Alright, so we got the lure and all our line back.